Hello. On today's episode of Daily Economics, I discuss Ghana's exchange rate, which has been quite strong and stable in recent months. This stability comes off the back of a 62% depreciation between January 2020 and December 2024. Since then, however, the cedi has appreciated by approximately 36%, and along with this appreciation comes momentary benefits such as the recent reduction in fuel prices as well as the prices of other consumables across Ghanaian markets. But to further contextualize this, suppose you had 100,000 Ghana cedis in 2020, that would fetch you $18,000. By December 2024, the same amount of money in Ghana cedi could only fetch you $6,800. It meant you would have lost at least $11,200 on account of the exchange rate depreciation alone. At current exchange rate, the same 100,000 Ghana cedi will fetch you $9,200, and you would have added $2,400 compared to December 2024. With this illustration, it is obvious what the disbenefits of the cedi depreciating and conversely the benefits of the cedi appreciating is, and this is generally understood by importers of goods and services as well as the general Ghanaian public. What is far less understood is the disbenefits and the risks associated with the cedi appreciating, and that is the subject of today's discussion. I ask a very fundamental question. Is the newfound strength of the cedi unquestionably good? My answer to this question is a no. It's a daring no because over the long term, a stronger cedi does not support economic growth and development. And to understand this, you've got to appreciate the key drivers of the exchange rate movements. The balance of payment basically contains the primary determinants of the exchange rate movement. It comprises of the current account and the capital and financial accounts. Because in most small economies, the financial and capital accounts are relatively small, the focus is most often on the current account. So let's just focus on the current account. The current account comprises of three main elements. The first is the balance of trade, which is your exports minus your imports. The second is the primary income, and the primary income comprises of investment income abroad and cross-border compensation of employees, and secondary income, and this is mainly made up of grants and remittances. So in general, they are transfers. Suppose a country exports more goods and services than it imports. It means that it is earning a lot in foreign exchange that it needs to import goods and services. When a country runs balance of trade surpluses for a prolonged period of time, all other things being equal, you expect such a country to accumulate net foreign assets, right? And with this accumulation of net foreign assets comes some appreciation of the currency. Unless in a situation where the country actively accumulates foreign assets and invests in other countries to keep the exchange rate at its level. Conversely, when a country is running current account deficits, that is, it is importing more goods and services than it is exporting, and does this over prolonged periods of time, you expect the country to rapidly deaccumulate assets or incur liabilities. And with this incurring of liabilities, naturally comes the depreciation of the currency. Since 1979, the current account balance has been consistently negative, turning positive only on two occasions. First in 2003 and second in 2024. This appears to have been driven largely by the balance of trade, which has also been consistently negative throughout the period, at least since 1982, turning positive for the first time in 2024. It does appear, however, that the balance of trade surplus that we are experiencing since 2024 is likely to persist into the future. And the reason I say this is because preliminary figures for 2025 also shows it was a surplus, and I expect this to continue this year and into 2027. The reason for this is because Gold as a share of Ghana's export basket has risen consistently, at least since 2021. It's gone up from 45% to about 57% in 2023, and it appears to continue to be increasing. Along with this comes a significant rise in the prices of gold on the world market, rising from around $2,700 to about $4,800, almost $5,000 as we currently speak. And so we expect this balance of trade to continue a little bit. In fact, JP Morgan has forecasted that the price of gold in the world market should continue to rise, peaking at around $5,400 in 2027. If you look on the fiscal side, you would see that we have consistently also been incurring fiscal deficits over the period. And this brings us in the realm of what we call the twin deficits, where both the public savings investment gap as well as the private savings investment gap are both negative. When this happens, it means that the country is rapidly accumulating liabilities, and along with this should naturally lead to depreciation of the currency, all other things being equal. And this has been Ghana's story for quite a while. The recent turn of events in the balance of trade, enabled by gold exports and the explosion in gold prices, seem to be changing the narrative. The risk, however, lies in the collapse of gold prices in the world markets. Should there be a significant drop in gold prices, we will return to trade and current account deficits, and eventually the cedi would begin to depreciate again. It is why I think the current gains we are seeing from the significant rise in gold prices is better spent in accumulating net foreign asset position and investing in industrializing and diversifying our export basket away from the over-reliance on commodities. The current policy approach of aggressively defending the cedi, with the Bank of Ghana spending $10 billion in forex interventions, only serves to perpetuate formed consumption habits, which is hugely reliant on imported commodities. With this being said, current conditions provides ample opportunity for the government to invest the windfall in foreign exchange in industrial development, with a focus to wean the nation off the extreme import dependence. This invariably entails allowing the Ghanaian cedi to depreciate when market conditions dictate. This way, we would gradually build competitiveness in our manufactured exports. This is how countries develop productive capabilities in manufacturing and have developed their economies as a result. It is why some economies choose to opportunistically devalue their currency when conditions are convenient. Recent examples include China, Japan, Argentina, Vietnam. The list is endless. And so while the Ghanaian story may contain its uniqueness, it is the case that spending precious foreign exchange to strengthen and defend the cedi at a relatively high value may be detrimental rather than beneficial to future economic prosperity. This is why the recent appreciation and the defense of it by the central bank could easily become unsustainable should external conditions worsen. In that event, we would have wasted precious resources in pursuit of short-term glorification when they could be used for more productive long-term investments. This has been my take, and thank you for sticking to the end. See you on the next episode. Until then, take care and see you around. Bye.